Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Real Stories of Hurting Moms. My name's Cathy Taylor. I have my friend and Hurting Moms leader here with me, Jennifer. And we are excited about being here. We're excited to be able to share tonight. And so I'm going to be kind of interviewing Jennifer, but before I start talking to her, want to wait for a few people to get on here. But I also want to ask you a couple of things. As always, if this is your first time, if you have not seen one of these broadcasts live before, would you let us know about that? And also let us know where you're watching from. I don't know why, but I get so thrilled when I see moms tuning in from all over the US and all over Canada. And we even have moms in, we've got Pamela in Ireland that watches. We have somebody from South Africa last week in the Philippines. I mean, unfortunately, and as sad as it is, hurting moms is not, nobody's exempt, I mean, there are hurting moms literally all over the world. And thankfully, because of technology, we're able to have a community. We're able to come together and know that we're not alone. And by sharing the stuff that we've gone through and sharing the things that God's done in our lives and the way we've been able to heal and overcome some of our painful emotions, that just makes all the difference in the world. And I don't know about the rest of you, but for me, when I first started being able to share this pain and be able to talk about it and realize that I wasn't alone because other moms were sharing too, man, that made a huge difference. Did you find that?
Yes, I did.
Just it's pretty amazing, really. But we're going to talk a little bit. We talk a lot all the time about the roller coaster of emotions. And this week we had a blog written by one of our leaders, Dawn Helm. She's in Arizona, and she wrote a blog on being held hostage by our emotions. And I just thought it was so true. I mean, we can be literally held hostage by the emotions that we go through, these painful emotions. And Jennifer and I were talking before we came on here about some of the most prevalent emotions that we've experienced as hurting moms. And go ahead and share, Jennifer, what are some of the emotions that stand out to you that you've experienced as a hurting mom?
I experienced anxiety. Shame, guilt, anger. I didn't realize I experienced anger until I led 5 groups, and this group, anger. I've experienced them all.
We do, and I think that's why we call it a roller coaster, right? It's like Lori says roller coaster. It's like, you come up, you'll be in the throes of maybe even feeling pretty good. Like it feels like, okay, things are going better. And then boom, we went right back down to those negative emotions. You mentioned anxiety. If I had to say the number one emotion that I experienced as a hurting mom that did the most damage I think it was anxiety, because that churning, the way we feel, we can't, I don't know, not being able to sleep, waking up with it, going to bed with it. It just felt like I was being eaten up from the inside. And that was horrible. Another one that you and I were talking about were the guilt and the shame. And you shared with me about what brought you to hurting moms, where you were in your life or in your journey as a hurting mom. Can you share that?
Yes. 5 years ago, my life fell apart, and this is the last time my life is ever going to fall apart. And I moved into Leisure World, and it was I had a stroke, so I don't talk very well.
You're fine.
So sometimes. I moved into Leisure World, and I always looked for noise. I call it noise, distractions to not have me deal with my life.
Mm.
And so I moved into Leisure World all alone. I just have a cat and me. And there was no noise. And so I either knew I would probably become an alcoholic or drug addict, or I needed to get some help.
Mm.
And my sister knew the publisher of the books, and she said, maybe you should go to this.
Check it out.
Check it out. And I'm hooked. That's what brought me to Hurting Moms.
And you said that, like you mentioned, you've led 5 groups. I know tomorrow is lead a group on Saturday morning.
Yes.
She leads an online group on Saturday morning, and tomorrow's their last session. It's a 10-week. The group's ladies are 10 weeks, and so I'm going to go visit her group tomorrow morning. I'm excited about that. I get to pop on there and get to see the ladies and just hear about, how they're doing and what they've learned through the group. And I can't say enough about it. There's something about it. It's one thing to come on Facebook like this, and I see your comments, lady Scarlett. Hi, Cathy. I see all of your comments on here. And that's partly of being in community, right? You talk to each other on here, but there's something about being in a group where you're actually going through a process of healing. You start in session 1 and we go through 10 sessions, and each time we're learning new tools, learning new ways to deal with our pain and our grief and our hurt and our anxiety and all that. And there's one whole chapter on the roller coaster of emotions, where we talk about what does the Bible say about that? What does the Bible say about anxiety? What does it say about disappointment, guilt, shame? And so we have just ways of and what happens is we begin to overcome those negative emotions. And so I just want to encourage you, if you haven't been in a group yet, to please register for a group. It's where the real healing takes place. And Jennifer, like she said, has led 5 groups. I got to tell them about your one group where some of the ladies in one of her groups a couple times ago, right?
That was my first group.
Was that the first group?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So they all connected so well. And so some of them decided they were going to go on a cruise. And some of you have been around for a while, have heard me talk about this. And so they invited me to go with them. And I didn't know them. I didn't know them. And I thought, well, that sounds like kind of be fun. But what if I get out there in the middle of the ocean and, I feel all alone. So I invited a Hurting Mom leader from here in Southern California to go with me. And those women just have become lifelong sisters. And in fact, one of them is Dawn, who has been writing these amazing devotionals. The one on the emotions holding you hostage. She's done another one. If you look back on her Facebook, she's written several, and she's a great writer. And I didn't even know her until we went on that cruise, and now we're good friends. And so amazing things happen through this ministry. And I just can't say enough. I can't say enough about it. What have you seen, and what about just even in your own life, as you went through a group the first time, when you say you were going through this anxiety and, fear and anger, all the things, what happened with all that, with all those emotions when you went through a group yourself before you started leading? Did you feel like, did it help you to overcome?
It helped me to overcome, and it's tools.
Yeah.
I never had any tools to deal with my daughter at that point. And my daughter is sober for 4 years.
Right.
And she was getting sober, but for the 12 years before that, it was not good.
Yeah. Painful.
And painful.
Painful experience.
She was she was on the way wrong path. She was homeless, and she was homeless, um, and she was a meth addict and an alcoholic, and it was
It's heartbreaking.
it was
It
heartbreaking.
breaks your heart. I mean, and I know a lot of these moms are experiencing the same thing with kids that are addicts. Somebody mentioned earlier, and this is so true, hurting moms, I mean, because of the drug epidemic in the world, basically, many of us have kids that are addicts, but there are many moms who are part of our community who have other issues with their kids. I've been shocked at how many people are estranged. The kids have cut them off.
Yeah.
They don't want anything to do with them. They've taken the grandchildren away. They've, it's just heartbreaking how many grandmas are unable to see their grandchildren because. So I don't know. There's lots of different reasons why we hurt over our kids, and what I always say is the situations vary. The situations may be different, but the pain is the same. I don't think anyone else really understands this pain that we experience when we're a mom and we're hurting over our child. And so that's why I think why this whole community thing is so important, because we find out, I don't know about you, but I found out I wasn't alone. I found out I wasn't the only one, and it helps to kind of break out of that isolation you were talking about.
And I did get very isolated. I moved out of my house. My ex and I got a divorce, and I moved out of my house. I moved to a different town. I was so embarrassed around my friends because they all I thought they had a perfect life, and I couldn't hide it anymore. And I tried to hide it, but I just couldn't hide it anymore. And so I kind of became really isolated.
Yeah. I think that's what we tend to do. Because of the guilt, because of the shame. I know we were talking about this earlier. Guilt was so huge for me because I knew that I had a part in it. I knew that I played a role in it. My daughter's dad and I had been divorced when she was around 9. And then I got a new boyfriend who was an alcoholic, and I drank with him for a number of years. And by the time I got sober and cleaned up my act, she was out of control. And that boyfriend, he and I both now have 23 years of sobriety, and we've been married. We've been married for 22 years. And so God was really gracious to us, and he is very close to all my kids, but our kids are all grown now.
Yeah.
But boy, we had some years where I didn't think we were going to make it. Hi, Carol. Hi, Penelope. Carol Martell, who's in Nova Scotia, and Penelope, who's up in Northern California. We're both in a group, one of the first online groups that I led. Because when we first started doing online groups, I led a couple because I was like, I need to see what this is going to look like. And so they joined in here. Isn't that amazing? All the way from Nova Scotia to California. And it was amazing. So good to see you both on here tonight. Ladies that are watching, I would love to have you put in the comments. Let us know what emotions are you experiencing right now. I mean, some of you may be experiencing peace. Some of you may be experiencing gratefulness. But some of you may be experiencing, I saw Scarlett on here, experiencing extreme anxiety. And like you talked about, anger. There's so many different emotions. And that this roller coaster, like we said, goes up and down and up and down. And let's just share with each other right now on here. So go ahead in your comments, let us know what emotion tonight, right in this moment, are you experiencing regarding your kids. And I think everybody can relate. And some of you will be doing really well and others will not. And that's what we're talking about with a roller coaster. And I guess we kind of talk about a little bit about there. Lori says she's feeling right now relief and peace. For a little while. That's right. It's kind of like, even when things are going good, I don't know about you all, but I always kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop.
I'm just getting comfortable, and my daughter's been sober for 4 years.
Wow.
I'm just getting comfortable not waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yeah, it takes time, right?
Yeah.
Because it happens enough, where many of us have gone through this where things start going well for a little while, and so we get comfortable, and then it blows up. And so now it takes a longer and longer time for us to trust it's going to be okay. I'm seeing Loretta's going through anxiety, depression, and isolation. Jacqueline says sad. Jane's trying to accept what she cannot change, and Tina is sad. Sadness is another pretty prevalent emotion. We feel sad because this isn't what we signed up for. This isn't the way we thought it was going to be. I don't know about some of the rest of you, but all my life, I just wanted to be a mom.
I did too.
When I was a kid, if somebody asked me, what do you want to do when you grow up? I want to be a mom. And
I thought I knew I would know how to handle it.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, they don't come with a manual. They don't come with a handbook, do they? And Jane's feeling loneliness, and Heidi's feeling hope. So and you can see, keep writing your emotion there, because I think another thing, when we see every emotion that I'm seeing that you're writing, we find, I feel like I've been through. I think everybody will. We can all relate. So Penelope says, even though her daughter is 35, she's homeless on meth, she has peace today because she's been able to release her to Jesus. And that's the secret. And that's what we learn how to do in a Hurting Moms Mending Heart support group. It's really easy for me to sit here and tell you, you just need to surrender them to the Lord, right? So, well, how do we do that though? I mean, how do we really release them or surrender them? And that's one of the things we learn about, or we learn how to do in a Hurting Moms group. You gain tools, like you said earlier.
Yeah, I had no tools, and I didn't think I could release my kids to God at all, and I now have, and it's so much peace.
Yeah, freedom, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's like such a free feeling. Yeah. But so you learned how to do that by going through the group.
Yeah, and every group I go through, and I went through one group and I taught 5 groups, and every group I go through teaches me more. And something comes up that, I didn't listen to that. But something comes up every time I lead a group. Yeah,
and just like you said, you're like, this time the anger you shared with me, and I think you shared it here. This group, the one that you're finishing up right now, was the first time you've ever expressed the emotion of anger, or recognized even that you have anger. We don't think we should be angry, so
yeah. And I was so angry. I was so angry.
Anybody else out there relate to that? Anybody angry? We do. Anger is a secondary emotion to hurt. When we're hurt, our emotion is to get angry, and so we are hurt. Right? Our kids are hurting us. Their actions are hurting us. They've turned their backs on us. They don't want anything to do with us. They think they're too good for us. All these different emotions, these children who we have poured into and loved so much all of their lives. And so we're hurt. And so what we end up doing is getting angry because we don't know what else to do with it, I guess. And it's learning how to, Jane says, God has a plan, and that God's timing is not ours. That's right. And Joyce said, yes, I was. That's why I had a stroke. So Jennifer shared earlier that she's had a stroke, and you were sharing with me ahead of time that that a lot of this, the emotions, the divorce, your daughter, the things you're going through, contributed to your stroke.
Yes. I think it made me have my stroke. But the doctors don't. But I think
Yeah.
that just the anxiety and the anger. And
Yeah.
when I had my stroke, I don't think it damaged the part of my brain. I can't feel that anger anymore.
Wow.
And so brain damage can be good.
Well, I don't know about that.
No,
But
it can't.
no, yeah. Well, you know what? Anger that's a negative emotion. We can make a lot of bad choices when we're angry, or say things that we regret saying later on. So yeah. So Penelope talked about how in Hurting Moms, when she went through the group, is where she learned that she was so consumed with her daughter that she was missing out on her marriage and her other children and her grandchildren. And I see, Penelope, your family on Facebook, and you have such a beautiful family. All these little blonde grandchildren, adorable. But, that's huge. We end up being so focused on this child who really doesn't want us to be focused on them anyway, and we miss out on our other relationships, with our spouses, with our other children. It really, and Penelope says she suffered physically when she was so worried, and that's what you've said, that there are so many consequences. We don't realize, and our kids don't realize, it's not just, they think they're only hurting themselves. And we think, they're only hurting us, but it just ripples out and affects so many things. So that's why it's so important to be able to release them, surrender them, trust God with them. God created them. He loves them more than you do. And I think it's really, I don't know, this is kind of one of the things we learn how to do in a Hurting Moms group. And I love what you said about each time you've gone through the group, you've captured a new thing, learned something new.
Yes, and it is truly honest. I have learned, like 2 weeks ago, some statement, I just cried. And I don't cry.
I remember.
I don't cry. And I know that's not good, but and I just, oh my goodness. And I realized something about my daughter and my other daughter, and it was just it very go on.
All right. I got you. I got you. Well, I know what you said. I remember you told me about that. I forgot about that. You said you were so surprised. It was like, where's that coming from?
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, there's these little pockets in our hearts, I think, that, and when we start tapping in somewhere we haven't tapped in before. And but you do know it is good to cry. There is healing in tears, lady. There's healing in tears.
I thought that was a really good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you have some sense of relief afterwards?
Yeah.
Yeah. You should cry every week.
I should.
I'm just kidding. But I feel like, that's one of the things, the very first night of a Hurting Moms support group, night 1, session 1, we take turns sharing our story. We take turns sharing what brought us to the group. And there's lots of tears. I always tell local group leaders, a lot of groups are in churches. By the way, if you're not comfortable with online, look at our website, hurtingmomsmendinghearts.org, and look under our groups and see if we have one near you. They're popping up more and more all over the place. We have like 5 groups in Arkansas. If you're in Arkansas, ladies, look at our group locator. There must be, Arkansas can't be that big, is it? Well, maybe it is. There's a lot of groups in Arkansas. There's also several groups, like 5 groups in Indiana. So they're popping up all over the place. So see if there's one in your area. But if there's not, just take that step of courage and get into a online group, because that's where the healing is going to take place. And that very first week, and you can all see each other and you can hear each other. And that very first week, everyone takes turn sharing their story, shares about what brought you to Hurting Moms Mending Hearts. And there's lots of tears, but there's so much healing in that. I mean, don't you think, like, after that first week, all of a sudden you're really close, mm-hmm. because you share that experience. And so many moms tell me it's like the first time they've ever felt comfortable telling their story, because they recognize they're in a safe place with other moms who 100% understand what they're talking about and not judging them. And that is an amazing, amazing experience. So, so are you going to lead another group after this one?
Oh, sure.
You heard it. So I'm looking forward to coming and visiting your group tomorrow and meeting the moms, and that'll be good. I always love that. I love being able to visit different groups, because I don't know, that kind of it's an encouragement to me. That's kind of what we keep.
They're looking forward to meeting you too.
Well, she does her group. What time does her? 8 a.m. our time, Pacific time, on the West Coast. So it's really early in the morning. I'm gonna have to get up really early. It's not tomorrow. It's on Saturday morning. Yeah, but there, Linda says things have gotten a lot better. She thanks God. She's dealing with fallout and being painted as a villainess. Anybody else gone through that, where you things start getting better with your child, but now you're the one everybody wants to blame? I think everybody understands that, Linda. I see.
Yes,
Jennifer's getting it. Yeah. Joyce, if you're asking us, we're in California, in Long Beach, California. So there's Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn just started a brand new group a little while ago tonight.
Oh. So
she started a new group, and I'm really looking forward to hearing about it and praying for her today. And another group started last night. Dee Dee, who's in Georgia, started an online group. And that's an online group, by the way, Gwendolyn's group. So, yeah, we've got, I think, I don't know, 4 or 5 online groups that people can sign up for coming up. So I really hope, moms, that you'll do it. Just do it. There's nothing like it. And I'm so grateful to you for your leadership. And
thank you.
It's really super great. I mean, I'm there. Jacqueline says it's cold there in Nova Scotia. I bet it. You know, we're cold here because it was only 60 degrees today. Yes, so we're all bundled up. Cold. I mean, we're in Southern California, and so we feel like it's so cold. Yeah. Cathy Wendley, she's starting a new group in Pennsylvania on Tuesday night. Joyce is in Indiana. Joyce, we have a number of groups in Indiana. I don't know. And Jacqueline in Nova Scotia. Carol Martell, who's on here watching tonight too, who was in one of my groups, is also from Nova Scotia. Do you know Nova Scotia is like 4 hours ahead of us? They're like past the East Coast. They're so far east that I didn't know there was. Yeah, so like all the way in the United States, all the way to the far east is 3 hours ahead of us. But in Nova Scotia, they're beyond that is 4. I remember because Carol, when we would be having our group, it would be like 10 o'clock at night her time. I mean, it would be late. So there she is. She said it's this amazing group. So listen, ladies, we're already out of time, and it's so much fun to see you all on here and to know that we're in this together, that we're not alone. It isn't fun that we're all going through this, but it is there's something so wonderful about knowing that we're not alone. Joyce, look on our website, hurtingmomsmendinghearts.org, and click on groups, Breaking Free Groups, and then look under local groups and look in Indiana and see what cities they're in. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. Loretta, we do have a couple of groups in Texas. I think there's one in Keller and there's one in Big Spring, Texas. So, yeah, see Carol Martell. It's 10:20 there, and it's only 6 something here. So, anyway, ladies, God bless you all. I'm praying for you. I'm thinking about you. Don't hesitate. Please, please, please sign up for a group. Get into a group. This is where you're going to get tools. This is where you're going to learn how to get off the roller coaster. You will be given tools to where you can step off that roller coaster and whenever you want. It takes time and it's a process, right?
Yes, it is a process,
Yeah.
but it doesn't come all at once, but you get tools, and that is so important.
It is, and yeah, it's amazing. So listen, I love you all. I will be back next week. I'm trying to get this mom to come on with me. I'm not going to tell you her name or where she's from, but I sent her an email today. She and her husband bought a building, a special building, and she's starting her first Hurting Moms group there. And she sent me like a video, and oh my gosh, they have it fixed up so cute and so inviting and so warm. It makes me want to go there. I want to go there and be in that group. But so I'm trying to get her to come on and share with us. But take care. Love you. Praying for you. Pray for each other, ladies. Reach out to each other and get into a group. And one more thing, if you have not signed up for the Daily Encouraging Words, it's free. You go to our website, scroll down on the first page. You just have to put your name and email address, and then you'll start getting these devotionals that I've written every day in your email. And they're really a lot of, they've even helped me. I don't even remember writing them. I mean, I get them and I'm like, wow, you know what? This is really touching my heart. Yeah. And so I know the Lord, helped me with that. He inspired them. So just go to the website, scroll down on the first page. You won't see it right away. You scroll down and you'll see the place where you can sign up. Daily Encouraging Word. All right. Bye, everybody. Have a good weekend, and I'll be back next week. Love you. Bye.